seconds out. Last round. Time. Well, tonight's the night that's going to decide it all. And at the end of it all, I'm going to be wrapping this, Henry Cooper's golden belt, round the waist to be the Tony Connellan of Manchester or Andy Murphy of Liverpool.
Yes, indeed, Henry. There are two captains, and they'll both, of course, be boxing tonight in the final of our second series for Henry Cooper's golden belt. A series involving 8 teams in an Intercities Boys Club challenge. And it began like this.
And what a punch that was. And that helped North London to become our first semi-finalists.
Yes, they were, and to find semi-finalist number 2, we went up north. And on the receiving end in that bout, a boy from Manchester. But Manchester, last year's champions, climbed off the floor to win. Only just, though. The next step was down to Stepney, in the East End of London.
And yes, that match was Birmingham versus Liverpool, and Liverpool won through. So 1 semi-finalist to find.
Belfast against Newcastle, that was, and they fought out a match that was every bit as close as the one they had in last year's series. Belfast it was who won, and that gave us our semi-final lineup. Manchester versus Belfast, and North London versus Liverpool.
Yes, 4 teams left, and there was plenty of excitement before we got down to 2.
So now, after all that, 8 teams have been reduced to just 2, and they'll be fighting out the final tonight for Henry Cooper's golden belt.
Yes, and it's Manchester against Liverpool.
Well, we're at a new golden belt venue tonight. That's the Kirkdale Community Centre here on Merseyside. And as you can see, the place absolutely jam-packed with supporters of both finalists, Liverpool and Manchester. Manchester, of course, the defending champions, and Liverpool, who've really taken everybody quite by surprise. They weren't in the competition last year. In 1984, they fought their way right through to the finals. Now, as we've been telling you, a lot of professional champions have started off life in the boys' clubs, and I don't doubt that during this series that we've seen a few more potential winners. So maybe a few more on tonight's bill as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 56-kilogram contest. 3 rounds of 1.5 minutes each round. Between and introducing, in the red corner, representing Liverpool Boys Clubs, Carl Wright. And in the blue corner, representing Manchester Boys Clubs, Darren Jones.
Well, we've seen young Darren before, and Henry's with his, well, slightly apprehensive dad.
We knew it won't be a hard one, this one. Yeah, it's his second fight against him in about 3 weeks, this.
Oh, is it? And how did they get on last time?
The Liverpool lad got it last time.
Did he? Yeah. Oh. So what was his tactics? Do you know before this fight?
Well, he's told him he had to go out and box him this time, you know. They just went in and lammed it out last time, you know.
Yeah.
So he's boxing this time.
So the first round of the first contest in this final for the golden belt, Darren Jones of Manchester in blue and Carl Wright of Liverpool in red. Oh, what a dynamite start this is.
Cherry Cole, 2 right, the Liverpool boy in red, to watch the head. Wright making his Golden Belt debut here tonight, but as I say, we've seen young Jones before, and last time out he won.
Action-packed first round, both boys looking a wee bit tired at the end of it, but that's hardly surprising considering the furious pace they set right from the off.
They went at each other a little bit, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Let's see what Mum thinks, anyway. So how do you think?
I think he's doing all right.
Yeah.
He's changed his tactics with him this time.
Yeah.
Box fighting this time, rather
well,
than
it's
just
going to be
fight.
interesting how they all go.
The Manchester boys, remember, wearing blue in this final tonight. Darren Jones representing them here against Liverpool's Carl Wright in red.
Darren Jones, 14 years old. Liverpool boy, Carl Wright, he's 15. He got tagged with a couple there, Jones, he's in trouble. Manchester, remember, the defending Golden Belt champions, looking to get off to a good start. Blood coming from Jones's nose now. Lands a good shot of his own. Now Wright's trying to get his jab moving. It's starting to pay dividends for him. He's hurt Jones, there's no doubt about that. Jones on the ropes. Oh, and jolted by a vicious wide uppercut there. Well, you don't see the uppercut too often in schoolboy boxing. There's the bell for the end of round 2. What a good fight this is.
The uppercut's coming up and catching him. Same as last 2, that's all you got to do. You're ahead now. Okay.
Depends on this last round now, Gary. Deep breaths, I want you to pull everything out. Underneath, when you get going, bam, 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 stay close, underneath that.
Well, you can't argue with that, can you? It all depends on this last round. And I wouldn't argue with the Liverpool corner's judgment either, that young Carl Wright at the moment is probably ahead in this return contest he's having with Darren Jones of Manchester.
Well, round 3, following the pattern of the previous 2. Jones, the Manchester boy, looking desperately tired now. But my goodness, he's coming back well. Forcing Wright to cover up. Liverpool boy defending well, taking quite a lot of those punches on his guard. The heads still banging together dangerously. Referee Cherry Cole keeping an anxious watching brief on both these boys. Blood now starting to come from Wright's nose as well. Wright's dead on the left in his corner. The Jones boys' parents just a few yards away. Now, who's got the bigger reserves of stamina? We shall never know, because there is the bell. Both boys fall into each other's arms. That is a contest that would have graced any ring anywhere in the world.
Like one of them every other day, don't that, would be? Eh?
I think we've got close. dead close. It's a similar situation to last time,
Give
Darren.
him.
Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Go on.
Well, what a shame. There has to be a loser. And a loser indeed there does have to be. But there's no draws in amateur boxing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that contest by a unanimous decision, right in the red corner.
Yes, Wright has got it. Darren Jones bitterly disappointed, but still sporting enough to give his opponent a pat on the back.
The judges scored the
What a great
contest
fight.
60-58, 60-58, 60-56.
Well, 20 points to the winner of each round, remember. And I'd have scored it like the first two judges, 60-58.
Well, congratulations to both you boys. You've had a great scrap there. Now, how did you... You're the winner, Carl. How did you think the fight went?
It was a hard fight. He's a strong lad, like, but I think I was a bit stronger.
Yeah. And how do you think it went there?
Well, it was a very hard fight, and I done the best I could.
Yeah, well, you did. It was certainly a great... You put a lot of energy into three rounds there. I was sitting with your mum and dad in the first round, and she said you was going to go out and try to perhaps box a little bit more.
Well,
but I think you got sort of drawn into a fight, didn't you?
Well, he's an hard person to keep off.
Yeah.
So, when I started boxing, but he didn't seem to work. He kept catching me still so far.
Yeah.
With me being a bit smaller, try and work to the body and wear him down.
That's it.
But he's a very fit lad, and it was a hard fight.
Well, it's pretty good tactics, and I'll tell you, you give the public value for money. Congratulations to both of you once again.
Thanks a lot.
Well, we all thought that young Carl Wright's win there had put Liverpool 1-0 up in this final, but we were wrong. Some remarkable news has just reached us from the official in charge, because it seems that 2 of the 9 Liverpool boys are unable to box. A fact that resulted in some acrimony, I can tell you, because Manchester, feeling this automatically meant that 2 of their best boys were taken out of the match. Well, they've claimed, and they've been granted, 2 walkovers. So Liverpool, instead of being 1 up, are at the moment 2-1 down. So 6 bouts to come then, including this one.
1 round of 2 minutes. Between and introducing in the blue corner, representing Manchester Boys Clubs, Nigel Wilkes.
And we know this little lad from previous weeks. He's all of 4 foot 10 inches tall.
And in the red corner, representing Liverpool Boys Clubs, Frank Baker. Wilkes blue, Baker red.
And little Nigel Wilkes, only 15, fast becoming a very familiar figure on the Golden Belt Series. Appeared in the quarter-final and semi-final, won both his bouts, going for the hat-trick tonight. Frank Baker, the Liverpool lad in red, the southpaw, right hand, right foot forward, making his Golden Belt debut tonight in the final. And I can tell him he's going to have a real little handful on his hands. Really has astonished me throughout the series that Nigel's 15, tiny little lad, but a very useful little boxer for all that. Tends to dart in and out, quicksilver little jabs. Liverpool boys should be trying to keep this at a distance, just pop out his jab, jab and move, and I'm sure that's the advice that he's going to get from his corner now.
Come on, keep more busy, hey?
Round 2 then, between Nigel Wilkes of Manchester in blue, Frank Baker of Liverpool in red. Now, I'd have given that first round marginally to the Manchester boy, little Nigel Wilkes. Simply on work rate. see the Liverpool boy, Frank Baker, working just a little bit harder. End of round 2. And I think the Manchester boys getting the upper hand in this one.
Right to the body, left hook, back over the top of the hand. He's just open, he's open for it, right? Last down, Nigel. Put it in. Last down, on him all the time, do you hear me?
Hey, come on now, no way.
Problem with you, don't be staying at the end of his lead. Do it better.
Baker, the southpaw, Wilkes, the orthodox style boxer, who for me holds the lead in this fight. Now Baker at last getting to work, or trying to. Pinned in his own corner now, the Manchester lad. Well, there's the bell for the end of the contest.
Worked well. Could have put him on a little bit more pressure there. Very good though.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that contest by a majority decision, Baker in the red
Well,
corner.
Baker's nicked it. I must say that surprises me a little bit.
The judges scored the contest 60-58, 59-58, 57-60.
What it does mean, though, is that Liverpool have now cancelled out their walkovers deficit, and it's now 2 bouts apiece. And we're back with Chris Walker of Manchester against Alan Osborne, who's wearing the red of Liverpool. We're in round 2, and little Chris Walker, the boy in blue, the youngest lad ever to box in this series. He's only 13, and like Alan Osborne, who's just 14 and a national schoolboy finalist as well, weighing in at just 40 kilograms or about 6 stone 4. And the Liverpool boy quite comfortably taking the first in my book. There's quite a sizable lump coming up under Alan Osborne's right eye. I'm not sure whether that was caused by a punch or a clash of heads. Suspect possibly the latter. But if that bump gets any worse, referee Terry Cole might be forced to have a look at it. There's the bell, and you can see that lump coming up, I'm sure, when we go to the red corner. Well, I wonder what his dad thinks about it.
Yeah. What do you think of young boys boxing?
I think it does him the world of good.
Yeah?
Yeah, does more good than harm.
Yeah. So he enjoys his boxing, he comes
he
on
loves
and,
it, loves it. Never misses training.
Well, the third and final round then between Chris Walker of Manchester in blue, Alan Osborne of Liverpool in red, and the Liverpool lad fighting under a handicap of a nasty bump under his right eye, but I rather suspect it was caused by a clash of heads. A good jolting right from Chris Walker, brought him up short as he came, and that's probably about the best punch that Walker's thrown throughout this contest. A wild right swing, misses by a mile. There's the bell. Once again, hugs all round, and I think Osborne knows he's won it.
Some cream on that, okay?
Yeah.
How's your hand?
Just the right ones to stay in a little.
But young Walker still hopeful.
I'm telling you, you did great then. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that contest by a unanimous decision, Osborne in the red corner.
Well, no surprises. He's got a few bumps and bruises as young Alan Osborne, but he won't mind that
The
a bit
judges scored the
because
contest
he's put
60,
Liverpool in the lead
57,
at
60,
3 bounds to 2 in this
59,
final.
57.
And it's time now to introduce Henry Cooper's special celebrity guest of the evening. A young man who, as an amateur, had the most extraordinary record. He's made a terrific start as a professional too, and his name is Errol Christie.
Well, Errol, we're in the dressing room with all these young amateur boxers right now. If you had to give one of these kids one bit of advice, what do you think would see them all through life? What would it be?
Well, I think the greatest advice I can give them is complete dedication in the sport that they're doing. I mean, they're going to get in that ring and they're going to fight for 3 rounds. And it's in amateur fighting, it's 3 rounds of fast work. And I think they've got to be out on the roads, running, building their stamina up. And there's no time, you know, to go out and enjoy themselves, go to discos and stuff like that. They've got to be in bed certain times. I mean, it's all complete dedication.
Yeah.
That's the only advice I could really give them.
Oh, it's done you pretty good, didn't it?
Yeah, I've you know, when I was in the championships, you know, there was no way I could go out to a disco.
Well, I was talking to one of the guys here, and he said when you went on one of those scholarships, he said you was a right little so-and-so, but you seem a nice guy. What happened?
Well, I mean, in any case, I was pretty young. I was still a school kid. You know, we like to have a bit of fun.
What was you getting? What, up to pranks, were you? Or?
Yeah, we was having pillow fights late at night and, you know, just generally messing about.
Yeah,
you know, just making a mess of all the places where we were staying.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyway, you all calmed down, I suppose, yeah?
Oh, no, yeah, I'm a lot older, a lot maturer now, so I've got to quiet down.
Did boxing have anything to do with that?
Yeah, I think boxing taught me respect more than anything. I mean, I was taken out of the country, brought to different countries, and a lot of responsibility was left on me. I was team captain of England, there was responsibility there. That made me more mature in my outlook to boxing and stuff. But I'd just like to point out, you know, the NABC's boy club, it's just not boxing. They've got canoeing and other sorts of sports. You know, it just happens that I picked boxing. That was my main sport.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good way of life, huh? Boys,
yeah, it's a good way of life, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 63-kilogram contest. 3 rounds of 2 minutes each round. Between and introducing, in the blue corner, representing Manchester Boys Clubs, Carl Wally. And in the red corner, representing Liverpool Boys Clubs, Andrew Holligan. Wally blue, Holligan red.
Carl Wally of Manchester in blue, Andy Holligan of Liverpool in red. And a potentially very intriguing bout, this. Carl Wally, the Manchester boy in blue, the reigning NABC Class A champion. Andy Holligan doesn't respect that one little bit. We've seen both these boys before in this current series. They've both won. Tonight, though, something has got to give. Wally, 15 years of age, Holligan, 16. Useful boxer, Wally. He's taken some stick in this first round, as he did then. What a good punch, and another one. Well, he's wide open for those big rights, isn't he? Wally, the stylist. Holligan, the puncher.
Come on now, keep it up. Go in behind your jab, be first.
And Wally, seconded by his father tonight.
Right. Let that right hand go, let him have some. All right, jab, jab, right hand, bang, 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 and start. Right, he'll come as strong as he can now.
Come on now, you do it.
Well, with the words "be first" ringing in his ears, Andy Holligan, the Liverpool lad in red, goes out to face Carl Wally of Manchester in blue. Wally, the Manchester boy in blue, remember, the reigning NABC Boys Club champion. Be something of a surprise if he goes down to defeat tonight. His nose bleeding now. Well, he's scoring well, is Carl Wally, with that good left jab of his. But Holligan catches him with those big right hands. That's what's caused the bloody nose. Well, you've got to take a hat off to Wally, who gets caught with a jolting left hook as the bell ends that second. He's trying to box well under pressure, but Holligan will not give him an inch.
You've got to win this last round now. Come on now, he's a good boy, isn't he?
You're hanging back, and he's rushing in, swinging at you. Don't hang back.
OK. Right, come on now, got to win it.
Well, this fight's still wide open. And as I said in the second, you've really got to admire Carl Wally, the Manchester boy in blue. He's stuck to his task. He hasn't let himself get rattled. He's taken some stick, no doubt about that. But he's kept that jab coming, and that might just sway the judges. Into the last stages of this contest. Well, once again, what a shame there has to be a loser. I don't know who you think's done enough to catch the judge's eye. I have a suspicion Holligan might have done, but we shall see in just a couple of moments.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that contest by a unanimous decision, Holligan in the red corner.
Well, I thought Holligan would win it. I'm surprised it's unanimous. And Liverpool increased their lead over the defending Golden Belt champions.
The contest 60-58, 60-57, 59-57.
And it's Liverpool 4, Manchester 2.
Over these past weeks, I think we've seen some very good things in amateur boxing, but I think there's one thing particularly that I slightly disagree with.
And keep working, don't hang back.
Keep working all the while.
Up the work rate. You slow. Up the work rate.
You've got to work for the 2 minutes.
All right, keep working all the time. Keep working.
You see what I mean? Work, work. That's all you hear trainers and seconds now telling their boys.
And that's partly through this rule that if the judges score, you know, the two boys level, they have to give it to the boy who's done the most leading off. And then only if they're still level can they decide it on style.
I think we've got it in a lot of sports nowadays, this thing about work rate. I think you see a footballer running around mad on a pitch for 90 minutes, and because he's running, they think it's good. I'm not a great believer. I mean, I'd sooner see the guy who perhaps is not running so much, but using his brain and he's alert all the time, but someone like Greaves, who was in a penalty box, who could score goals and make a half chance in a goal. And the same applies to boxing. I still like to think boxing is a science, is a skill, and the art of boxing is to hit your opponent without being hit yourself. And I still like to see a man draw a man on and let him come onto a punch, which makes it twice as hard.
The start of round one then between two men, no strangers to success. Eamon Macaulay of Manchester in blue, Neil Foran of Liverpool in red. Macaulay, NABC champion at his weight in 1983. Foran, NABC champion, 1984. And Macaulay, the boy in blue, must win if Manchester had to stay alive in this defence of their title. They're 4-2 down, remember, so if Foran, the lad in red, wins, Liverpool will take the golden belt. A warning to Eamon Macaulay. Keep his punches up. Oh, gets caught with a good right, short right. Well, the end of the first round then, and not a lot to choose between these two boys, is there?
I want to see you boxing. I want to see you using your left hand more. You're boxing well inside, look. Get your jab going more. Okay. Yeah. Come on, plenty of jabs. Boxing.
Hand again. Hook. Hand again. Come on, Nino. Head together.
The bell for the start of round two then between Eamon Macaulay of Manchester in blue, Neil Foran of Liverpool in red. Foran, the Liverpool boy, boxes for one of the most outstanding amateur clubs in the country, the Rotunda Amateur Boxing Club. And Macaulay, the Manchester boy, also from a renowned club, Cavendish Amateur Boxing Club. So both these two boys, excellent pedigrees, excellent records, and once again, beautifully matched. Foran was telling me earlier that his favourite boxer is Errol Christie. Well, there's Errol helping Henry choose the top boxer of the night. Well, the Liverpool boy, Foran, trying to work for his openings, but Macaulay tucks up well, takes a lot of those shots on his arms. They don't score. Comes back with a good left-hander, jolts back Foran's head. There's the bell for the end of the second.
I couldn't box him. Couldn't box him, Jim. Cheap bets. Cheap bets, come on. I'll fight him.
Well, if he fights and wins, it's going to be Liverpool's golden belt. But if he loses to Macaulay, well, this final is going to be wide open again.
You can win this shit by boxing only. Box his head off.
The third and final round then between Eamon Macaulay of Manchester in blue, Neil Foran of Liverpool in red. And I wouldn't like to separate them, I really wouldn't. The Golden Belt final, remember, hinging on this contest. Macaulay in blue must win or Manchester lose the belt. Well, it's the Manchester boy, Macaulay, finishing stronger. A real war of attrition, this one. Good finish from Foran, though. It really is a seesaw battle. Just when you think one of these boys is getting on top, the other comes back and confounds what you've just said. Well, if I say that Foran is ending this round the stronger, for once I would be right. The bell goes for the end of the third. No time at all for any comebacks, and too late for Manchester to have any hope at all of keeping their title if Macaulay fails to get this decision.
You're very good, creditable lads there, mate.
Boxing last night.
Well, it is very close, of course. Personally, I think Foran, the Liverpool boy, has just about done it. But, well, we're about to find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that contest by a unanimous decision, Foran in the red corner.
Yes, and the belt has changed hands. 5-2, Liverpool now cannot lose. Well, the outcome of this final decided then, as you can probably hear. Liverpool, the new champions, but the action by no means finished, because we still have 2 contests to come.
First, though, our reply to Professor Brian Jeanette, who was with us last week following that BMA report that boxers inevitably risk brain damage. Henry first.
Well, Dave, obviously there's always going to be some danger, you know, and I think most people in boxing accept that. But frankly, you know, the amateur game, I think, is so well controlled now by the ABA that, you know, what with the slightly bigger gloves, you know, to give extra protection, doctors' examinations, you know, and all boxers, amateur boxers, have to have these medical cards. And then what with layoffs, you know, after stoppages or injury and so on. And personally, I think the old days of the punch-drunk fighter are pretty well gone. And that's a good job, too.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Henry. In fact, you know, Professor Jeanette was very impressed by the amateurs, wasn't he? The trouble is that nobody talks about the good that boxing can certainly do, and I'm convinced it does help build character. And certainly I think that viewers would agree we've seen plenty of courage, lots of sportsmanship too in these series. Even here at the Kirkdale Centre, there's an illustration that boxing clubs can positively help society.
Now, there's been boxing here since 1912, although not continuously. In fact, it once fell from favour, and it took a tragedy to get boxing back on the menu again. That tragedy came when a lady and her baby son were knocked down and killed by some teenagers joyriding in a stolen car. And that indirectly provided the impetus, because it was felt that something just had to be done to bring the boys back in again off the streets and give them something worthwhile to do. So, boxing back on the menu, and very nicely it's been doing ever since.
And you know, some people are misinterpreting Professor Jeanette. He made it quite clear to me he only wanted to make known his medical findings. In fact, he admitted boxing might possibly do more good than harm. Well, my view is that it does.
I certainly would agree with both of you there, Henry. You know, there have always been risks in boxing, we know that, but then again, there are in other sports too, so they're not really telling us anything all that new. And in practice, we don't think the risks are as great as they once were. Mind you, the sport's not perfect, we're not saying it is, but parents and the boxing authorities should really conscientiously study this report and decide what's best for boxing and also for the youngsters taking part.
Right, and there's something to keep in mind as you continue watching boxing.
And at the moment we're seeing a very cool Jeff Armature of Manchester in blue, jabbing his way, I suspect, to a points victory over Willie Morris of Liverpool. Well, Well, Morris certainly showing a touch more aggression in this third and final round. The question is it too little too late? Smiles from Willie Morris as he comes back, but rather a grimace of disappointment, maybe.
You know, but I think you might have sneaked it.
Well, here we come. A congratulatory pat. Terry Cole has them both, and Keith Darlow has the result.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that contest by a unanimous decision, Morris in the red corner.
Well, I find that quite extraordinary. Although I must admit that I have seen Armature fight better.
Well, Henry, we've seen some outstanding boxing in the Golden Belt Series this year.
Yes.
In my view, better than last year. Who in particular has been catching your eye?
Well, that's a tough one, but I think, you know, you've got to put the Canellan brothers in. I mean, they come out the same sort of mould. They're strong boys, come forward, slinging a lot of punches. They've been good to watch.
That's right.
The other one, I think, Andy Murphy, the Liverpool lad, who's a southpaw, but a pretty good boxer, you know, stands up, tries to box, sticks that old straight right hand out and, you know, and comes in good. So he's a name to watch in the future.
Andy Murphy just about to get in the ring against Tony Canellan. Let me take you back earlier in the series. A young boy boxed for North London, Darren Dyer. What a punch he had.
Oh, he hit that Welsh boy, didn't he? And, had him out. I mean, so anyone who can punch that has got to be a good prospect. So there, I think 4 names we'll definitely hear a little bit more of in the amateur game.
Canellan, blue, Murphy, red.
The two captains, Tony Canellan of Manchester in blue, Andy Murphy of Liverpool in red. Well, here we go with the first round then, and this should be a corker. And unusually, you can see right away, we've got 2 southpaws in the ring, and both these young men, almost inevitably, I would say, stars of the future. They can punch, these boys, they can box, and incidentally, they've met 4 times before. Murphy, the lad in red, has won 3 of them, and Canellan once. Both of them have won Best Boxer awards. 2 of the best juniors in the country. Bell for the end of round 1, and a lot of good boxing in that round.
Keep tight, keep moving to your right, keep slipping the right leg, keep banging the hook up the middle, doubling the hook over the top, and then banging the left hand over the top of that. Go inside, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Come away tight, and come back right hooking. You got that? That's the pattern. That's the pattern. You'll not sort that out. Right? Right. Now get out there, Tony. Don't let him in. Take it away from him again.
Oh, come on, you can do this. That down was pretty even now. Come on, you've got to win 2 rounds. Okay. Yeah. Hey? Yeah. Come on.
The start of round 2 then between the 2 captains, Tony Canellan of Manchester in blue, Andy Murphy of Liverpool in red. Canellan, the reigning junior ABA champion. Murphy, the reigning NABC champion at their respective weights. And Canellan also a national schools champion. Fantastic partisan support for these tremendous rivals. The entire Canellan family here, including brother Darren, who sadly wasn't able to box tonight. Andy Murphy also with huge support, not least from his mum. Canellan has only lost 7 out of 90 bouts, but he's up against a tough one tonight.
Yeah. Keep it up. Keep it going the way you did then, OK?
And pressure him. Last half minute, all the way. It's the last round. Especially when you get in that last half minute. Bang him in. Bang him over. OK? Let's go.
Is this going to be defeat number 8 in Tony Canellan's 91st junior outing? Only lost 7 before, and ironically 3 of those at the hands of Andy Murphy. So the Liverpool boy, something of a jinx fighter for young Tony. The thing is that whenever Canellan comes in, he's catching and hurting the Liverpool boy. This bout nearing its end. Murphy finishing strongly, but Canellan, typical of him, the word quit is not in his vocabulary. He comes back, lands a short right. The bell for the end of an excellent contest.
What do you say?
Well, that was nice, wasn't it? Well, whatever the result, it's desperately close.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that contest by a majority decision, Murphy in the red corner.
Murphy's got it. He's delighted. Canellan, you've got to lose sometime. I think he thought he'd got it.
The judges scored the contest.
But what an overwhelming victory this has proved to be for Liverpool.
58-60. 59-59, with the decision being given to Murphy for the better style.
So the judges couldn't separate them either on punching or aggression, and that'll delight Henry, who now has 2 prizes to present, and first of all, this one.
Well, it's my pleasant duty now to present this top boxer award, and I've given it to a loser this evening, because I think he boxed beautifully under pressure, and he was under a lot of pressure, and the boy is Carl Wally.
Yes, well done, Carl. Remember that excellent contest he had earlier tonight with Andy Holligan.
So, Carl Wally of Manchester takes the individual award as the best young boxer of the night. Just 1 prize for Henry to present now, and that's the glittering one. Henry Cooper's belt, 1984, goes to the captain of Liverpool, Andy Murphy. Well, that's it then, the final bell in another series of this Intercities Boys Club Boxing Challenge. And we've really seen some superb action over the past few weeks. And Henry, I don't doubt 1 or 2 future champions as well.
Oh, no doubt about that, Dave. Champions of the future coming up. And I think they'll all be firing up to Liverpool, won't they, next year, to win
Henry Cooper's Golden Belt. Good night.
Good night.